This video is sponsored by Moft. So, rather more quietly than usual, Apple released this, the M5 iPad Pro this autumn. And honestly, when they first did that, I thought, well, here we go again, another spec bump. But after using this for the past week or so, there's a little more going on here under the hood than Apple really suggested. Now, the M5 chip isn't just faster, it's fundamentally changing what you can do with an iPad. We're talking 4 times faster AI performance, proper ray tracing for gaming, and connectivity upgrades that actually matter. So in this video, let's answer 3 simple questions. What actually makes an M5 chip iPad different? Who is the iPad Pro M5 really for? And is this finally an iPad that justifies you owning the Pro? Right, let's quickly go through what you get in the box. Inside, you've got the iPad Pro itself, a USB-C charging cable. Nice touch that this one is black to match the space black iPad. And there's, well, nothing else. No power adapter, no stickers anymore, just a little book explaining that this is an iPad. Apple have really stripped this down, and actually, I like it. You'll need to own your own 20 watt or higher USB-C adapter, though if you want fast charging, go for a 60 watt or higher to get 50% charge in about 30 minutes on this thing. Pretty cool. Now, I think that's not a bad thing. Most people probably own blocks by now, and if not, buy one with your iPad and move on and keep it. Great. Now then, design-wise, if you owned the M4 iPad Pro, this looks, well, identical. I can't actually tell the difference. But that is not a bad thing at all. It's the same incredibly thin 5.1mm profile, same stunning tandem OLED display, same 120Hz ProMotion. This is probably still my favorite bit of Apple hardware that's out at the moment, because last year's redesign was really brilliant. There is one quality of life improvement. The display now drops to just 1 nit of brightness. Perfect for working in the dark without burning your retinas, but, well, really? Nothing else. And well, that's where things get interesting, because as is often the case, it's what's on the inside that counts. Okay, so let's talk about M5 chip power and what actually matters about that. So who's going to actually benefit from this M5 chip power? And well, I think Apple is being a bit quiet about how significant some of the improvements are. For gamers, power users, this is a future-proof play. So the M5 is a genuine leap in graphic performance, up 30% with ray tracing that is now 45% faster, making console quality titles run noticeably smoother. For heavy workflows, you're getting double SSD speeds as well, and a 27.5 boost in memory bandwidth. Well, that's all really quite impressive. Apple is pushing forward as well on connectivity and cellular, and if you work on the go, those upgrades matter. You can look at some of the specs on screen here if you care about that. The M5 iPad Pro is Apple's first device with their new N1 wireless chip, bringing Wi-Fi 7 and Bluetooth 6 into practice. You get faster, more stable connections, especially in busy environments with lots of competing devices, right? That I like the idea of, because it's a bloody nightmare when I go to conferences. And while we're on specs, I should note that the C1X modem delivers noticeably faster mobile data for uploads and tethering, things like that. And the CPU is also 15% faster for multi-threaded performance. And you probably won't notice, because these things are so powerful, you'd really be having to push these to recognize it. Oh yeah, and if you use the M5 iPad with an external display, the M5 now supports 120Hz refresh rates with adaptive sync, so you can use your external monitor and finally match the smoothness of the iPad on your monitor. And then I guess the other question is, why don't you just use your laptop? But let's be real, unless you are pushing those specific limits, the M4 is probably already enough at the moment. But there is another story here, which is infrastructure. Apple bumped the base RAM from 8GB to 12GB. Now that isn't just for today's apps, it's the necessary headroom that I think we all are going to need for AI-heavy futures that they are all clearly in the tech world building. You aren't buying the M5 for what you need now, you're buying it for what you'll need in 3 years. And so if you are about to buy an iPad Pro, get the M5. All right, specs are great, but let's talk about how we actually use these things. The iPad setup matters. So whatever iPad you get, you need, of course, an Apple Pencil. Just budget it in, my friends, is pretty much why this thing is great. And I would say you also need the right case. My go-to for the last year is this Moft's Dynamic Folio. It's genuinely transformed how I use my iPad Pro. I do love the Magic Keyboard, but let's be honest, when you are using it as a tablet, it's just too bulky. And particularly as a MacBook user as well, I just keep coming back to this because I just want to use it as a notebook, a screen, a monitor, something handheld. And this is the accessory that truly made the iPad feel like the flexible handheld device I think it should be. Most iPad cases either add too much bulk or lock you into two positions. The Moft Dynamic Folio does something different. It's incredibly thin and light at just 10.5 ounces, but gives you multiple positioning options that actually make sense for different tasks. My most used setups are this one, floating theatre mode. It props the iPad up at 60 degrees with a 3-inch elevation, perfect for watching content, video calls, or just using it as a second display. That elevation makes a genuine difference for comfort during those longer sessions. And for creative work, I really love the floating creation mode. That gives me a 30-degree angle, a 2-inch elevation, and it's brilliant for using the Apple Pencil with your iPad for this lovely kind of raised display. It really helps you working with your Apple Pencil without hunching over. And how about this, the dual screen mode for popping your phone and iPad together, reading mode for hands-free browsing, and a comfortable lap angle that's genuinely stable when you're doing stuff on the sofa. I really like that one. What Moft got right is keeping it lightweight while still being functional. Unlike those heavy keyboard cases that turn your iPad into that pseudo laptop, this keeps the tablet feeling like a tablet whilst adapting to how you actually work. So check out Moft's Dynamic Folio and a bunch of their other cool Apple accessories via the link in the description. And thank you, Moft, as always, for sponsoring this video. This is where the M5 really shines, AI workflows. And this is where I think most people are underestimating what has actually changed with what seems like a little bump. The M5 is Apple's first iPad chip with neural accelerators built into every GPU core. Now, the M4 didn't have this. That means the result? Up to 4 times faster peak GPU compute performance for AI tasks. Now, Apple's published some real-world benchmarks. They're saying it's 3.6 times faster for large language model responses, 1.8 times faster for Topaz Video Enhanced AI, and 2.9 times faster for AI speech enhancement in something like Premiere Pro. And the AI masking in Final Cut Pro is twice as fast as M4. You can now mask subjects across 100 plus frames in seconds using those neural accelerators. Let me show you a couple of real-world examples I've been testing. First up, Draw Things AI. This is an on-device image generation app that runs models with billions of parameters right there on iPad. I can create professional graphics for social media without sending anything into the cloud. It's 2 times faster than M4 and 4 times faster than M1. Genuinely impressive for anyone creating on the go. Second, Good Notes. If you're taking handwritten notes with the Apple Pencil, the AI can now search through all your handwriting across multiple notebooks instantly. You can even convert handwriting to typed text with a tap. It's the kind of thing that seems small until you realize you can suddenly find that one note you wrote 3 months ago in seconds. And if you're using Apple Intelligence, third-party AI apps, or tools like Photoshop's neural filters, the M5 just doesn't slow down. It's properly fast. So that leaves us with one question. Who is the iPad Pro M5 actually for? First, if you've got the M4 iPad Pro like I do, don't upgrade unless you're specifically hitting performance limits with AI workflows or just need that 120Hz external display. No one needs that, do they? I don't know. The M4 is still incredibly powerful. Just save your mummy. Just save your mummy? Just save your money. If you're coming from older iPads, M1, M2, or earlier, this is where this gets super interesting. The jump from M1 or M2 to M5 is really substantial. And those double SSD speeds and extra RAM will make a big difference. And of course, that heavy AI app stuff. But I always have this problem, right? I bought the iPhone 15 Pro, then the 16 Pro, and then they upgraded the look and feel and it all got a lot better. Is this going to change? Well, let's be honest, it's so beautifully thin and well engineered, I don't see this changing in a little while. Because the iPad Pro, I think, was actually the first big shift in design language out of all their main devices. If you think about it, we just got the iPhone 17 Pro, which was the big design shift. This was the first one, and the Mac is still the same. So I think the next thing we're going to see on a big design shift is going to be the Mac. So my guess, and don't quote me on this, is that you're safe. But I would say probably your most important question is the iPad Pro worth it versus the iPad Air? For most people, iPad Air is enough. The Pro only really makes sense if you're doing one of three things. Serious creative work with video editing, 3D rendering, gaming on the iPad, using it as your primary computer with storage management and external displays, or you're genuinely valuing having the best of the best technology. And let's be honest, the OLED tandem display on this thing is outrageously good. For everyone else, stick to the Air, save your money, and wait for the next Apple release. The M5 Pro is probably about what you need tomorrow, not what you need today. And if you plan to hold on to a device for 3 to 4 years, then future-proofing might be the way forward with one of these. Let me know in the comments what you think. Are you tempted by the M5? Will you be holding on to what you've got? I'd love to hear from you. And if you found this useful, check out this video next for where I break down the essential iPad setup tips that everyone should know. And if you haven't subscribed yet, hit my face to subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.